Hey, everybody. Welcome. Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast. Glad you're here. We've got Alex on the other line for once. Alex, how are you?
I'm good. It's been busy. I had a brand new baby, so
Excuses. You're one of the butters, right, Scott?
Yeah, but
Justin, I'm sorry. Justin, I called you Scott. Why did I do
called him
that?
Scott.
Right. I was like, is he talking to me?
I'm talking to the fourth guy on the call.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys. I'm feeling really great.
Hey, guys, this is Scott Williams and Justin Youngblood.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, we got Justin on the line here. But I didn't want to introduce him yet because I wanted to say hi to Alex. And by the way, those of you listening online here, you can see a video of us and our what do they call the 5 o'clock shadows on our website. But go to realestateinvestingmastery.com and you can see the video. You can see our show notes, and we're going to be talking to Justin here in just a minute. But Alex, it's been a little while since we've talked. You know, I basically took the whole winter off. We haven't released an episodes in a while, but we're starting to release some old episodes that we interviewed before. But
getting back at it.
Yeah, you've been you're doing a bunch of new construction right now, right?
Yeah. I got a lot of land development type deals going on. Basic buy the land, put a new construction project up there, or we're taking small houses that are like 700 square feet. In these really good areas and tearing every wall down but like two and turning them into 2,200 square foot houses. So we buy them for like 50 and sell them for like 230 when we're done with them.
Do you not tear down all the walls for permitting reasons? Yeah.
Exactly. So that way you're still in rehab status somewhat rather than new construction because there's a little more red tape that goes with the new construction.
Right. And you're still doing a lot of direct mail, a lot of marketing?
Yep, a lot of direct mail marketing. Find a lot of those deals that way, actually.
Yeah.
And rather than sell them for $5,000 on a wholesale because it's a lower number, I'd rather rehab it and make $40,000, $50,000 on it.
Nice, very good. And you've got a fourth. Yeah. That's number 4 now, right?
Baby?
Yes.
Yes, 4. And we're probably going to have the motto 4 no more. And probably my wife is going to get me a shirt that says 4 no more.
We have 4 too. How many kids do you have, Justin?
We have 3.
Well,
I think we'll go with the 3 no more model.
three no. It doesn't rhyme.
I'll get a shirt that says 3 no more.
We have
3 for me. 3 for me. There you go.
I tell people.
There you go. 3 for me. Yeah.
I tell people, hey, we're collecting them. And
yeah.
I love kids, man. I think they're the more the better. Why not, right? You only live once. Life's too short to only have a couple kids. But I don't judge anybody who doesn't have kids. I just think, man, you're really missing out because they're so much fun. We took all of our kids to Prague in the Czech Republic for 2 months. You've heard me talk about this before. And it was crazy, insane. I don't know how we survived, but looking back, those were probably some of the best memories I've ever had. It's just awesome. And those of you listening right now on iTunes, you've got to go to the video and look at Alex's clean office. It is so spotless. And you got to just wonder, how on earth does Alex make any money in this business? He doesn't shave. His office is...
Because everybody... Because everybody does everything for me.
I'm sorry, I'm just giving you a hard time. But enough of the chit-chat, guys. Go to realestateinvestingmastery.com. Listen to our previous shows. We just released a couple of them on deals and cash flow deals in St. Louis. We interviewed a guy named Brandon. Talked about the lease options deals that he's doing in Chicagoland, doing some crazy cool things. And we got a lot of cool things. You get our Fast Cash Survival Kit, which tells you how we flip deals, how we use virtual assistants, how we do all of our marketing. It's pretty crazy, man. I'm telling you, this market is white hot right now. I love this market that we're in. We've been wholesaling since the fall, an average of 5-10 properties a month, sometimes more. and it's just been really good. I mean, right now you have to follow the money, right? You've heard of the book Who Moved My Cheese, and right now there's a huge demand in the Midwest for cash flowing rentals. And if you can provide good, solid, cash flowing rental properties, you can wholesale those things all day long to cash buyer investors. So go to that website and you can find out how we do our marketing. It's really simple. It's not rocket science, and it's all there. And also, if you go to our website, you get to see this little video of us, the Three Musketeers, on this podcast and see what we look like. But we have a really cool guest on the phone, Justin Williams, who's from the House Flipping HQ podcast. I listened to his podcast the first time about a week or 2 weeks ago while I was in California. I was speaking in L.A., and I spent some time in La Jolla working on some projects. And I could tell right away that Justin is from California because he just, he exudes the kind of the laid-back, fun, crazy lifestyle of being a cool investor, gets to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to. But what really made me call you, Justin, was that episode you had about the 5 things that you outsource to virtual assistants. And I forget, this is just like 3 or 4 episodes ago, right?
Yeah, it was basically 5. It was called 5 Tips to Creating a 5-Hour House Flipping Work Week. Right. So you got it kind of wrong, just like you got my last name wrong, but close enough.
Justin Williams from
we'll
House
let him
Flipping.
Slide.
Justin Williams from House Flipping HQ, and I'm sorry for getting your name wrong earlier. I feel bad about that.
That's all right. Don't feel bad.
But Justin's a good guy, so I got a hold of him, and he gets 1,000 emails a day, and just like me, I don't catch all my emails, and so Justin, I don't know if you knew this, I sent an email out to my entire list. I said, hey, I'm going to be speaking in L.A. If any of you are in the area, come by and hang out. It'd be cool to see you. And then I said, P.S., by the way, if any of you know Justin Williams, tell him to contact me and reply to my email. So I had a few people.
I replied to your email. You just didn't get it.
I know. I didn't get it. But Todd Toback, a friend of mine, sent you an email as well. But I wanted to get you on the show because, man, I really like what you're doing. And anytime I can find a fellow podcaster out there who's doing deals, number one, and has a passion for helping people genuinely, a genuine passion to help people, I want to get him on the show and introduce him to our list. And, even though Justin's show is more professional than ours, it's better done. And he even sings on the show. He even sings on the show. I'm not jealous.
Wow.
Yes, he does. You got to go there and check it out. I'm not jealous. I want him on the show, and I wanted to talk to him and introduce him to you guys and let you all know what he's doing, what he's up to. He's got a unique kind of twist. Justin, you mainly focus on rehabbing, fix and flip strategy, although you do some wholesaling now and then, I imagine. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? And, how'd you get started in the business, and what makes you so excited about real estate investing?
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. I've been investing full-time for about 7 years now. During that time, I've flipped about 300 and we're up to like 325 houses, and we're currently doing about 100 a year. I think I mentioned to you last year was 75, the year before that was 120, the year before that was 60, which is when I started, higher volume. Our goal this year is 150. We're a little bit behind, but we've done really well the last couple of weeks. We've put about 8 under contract. So I'm hoping we can get back on track. We have about 22 total under contract so far for the year. And
you're in Southern California, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you live near, is it San Clemente in the south of LA area?
Yeah, I live in San Clemente, which is, San Clemente is the most southern Orange County city, and it's just north of San Diego County.
So what's your general area where you're flipping properties?
I flip all throughout Southern California. We just put one under contract. It was kind of funny. My assistant tells me I got a property under contract, and just before this call, she's like, I thought that house was in LA County and it's in San Luis Obispo. I don't know how we put a house under contract in an area we didn't know. So it looks like we're now flipping all the way up to San Luis Obispo, apparently. So
nice.
She's going to take a trip out there this weekend, but mainly Southern California. But, just 2 years ago, I was only flipping in a small region up, in the high desert area of California. That was my main area. And we're now in all of Southern California. So we've grown pretty quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm expanding even more over the next couple of years.
The reason I wanted to ask I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Are these wholesale or rehab mainly?
No, these are all rehab. I haven't, last year I got a package of like 3 or 4 houses that didn't work for me, and I did wholesale those. And then the year before I wholesaled about 5, but pretty much all fix and flip, all retail deals. So
what do you see on average per flip? What are you netting?
My deals range so crazily, in the high desert areas. I mean, I'm buying houses for about 80 to 100. And then in Palm Springs area, we're buying houses that are closer to $1 million homes. Some of them,
Wow.
LA, they're more expensive. You got Orange County and San Diego, or you're looking at 4, 5, 600,000. But then you have inland, which is kind of in the middle of that, which is 2, 3, up to 400,000. So very wide range. I don't shoot for a certain profit. Wow. I shoot for. I might be getting in too deep. That's what you guys are asking, but I shoot for a percentage. I'm always looking for a 40% annualized return on the total capital invested, not just my capital invested. I analyze it from the total capital invested first. I get the deal under contract, then I go line up the capital. So if I'm getting 40% annualized, it doesn't matter if I'm paying 12% to a private money lender or 16% annualized or 17% annualized to a hard money lender. Meaning 2 points and 12% kind of adds up to 16, 17, 18%. So, but if I'm getting 40% annualized on the total deal, then I'm good with, I get the remaining amount besides that 12 for 18%. Does that make sense?
That's interesting because a lot of people, for me, I like to focus on how much am I going to make per deal.
Yeah.
So is it 15, 20? Is it 50,000 that you're making per deal? But that's an interesting standpoint of looking at it from an annualized amount
all about percentages
of your return there on your percentage.
There's no way I could make $15,000 to $20,000 on a $500,000 house because if one little thing goes wrong, I lose that money. So it's got to be percentages. I think I learned that from my trustee sell buying days, which was my main focus just over a year ago. All those guys, they're all about margin. What's my margin? And if you look at it, I said 40% annualized. If you're turning a property in 3 to 4 months, that means I'm looking for about a 13 to 14% return on average. Now, if the house is occupied, I know it's going to take a little longer, so that I'm looking for 15 to 16%. If we're going to add square footage or working with the city, I know it's going to be about 6 months, so that I'm looking for about a 20% margin. It's just all, I don't know.
There you go.
It's just the way we do it. It just helps us teach our agents and our other wholesalers and everybody what we're looking for and just really streamlines the process. So I don't have to analyze every deal or figure out what to offer and stuff. So
nice. I like it.
I love the fact, Justin, that you're doing this in Southern California, one of the most difficult markets in the country, because I get calls all the time from people. This doesn't work. You call them the yeah butters. I love that. Yeah, but this doesn't work in my area where I live.
Oh, man.
But if you could do that many deals in Southern California, there is no excuse why you can't do that in your backwoods of Indiana or Virginia or St. Louis, Missouri or whatnot. I mean, I love the fact that you're able to pull that off in such a competitive market because you have tons of competition, right? How do you find? I want to talk about how you find these deals, but when I imagine when you were first getting started, was it easy to get discouraged with all of the competition? Looks like we lost you. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay. Did you get discouraged with?
He's hiding.
Did you get discouraged with the competition, with the with what you felt like was overwhelming odds stacked against you?
You mentioned before the book "Who Moved My Cheese." we're always moving with the cheese. I mean, you mentioned competition. What I've done recently, when I started 7 years ago, I was doing short sells and mainly focusing on wholesaling. Then we did that for about three and a half years, and then we got into the REOs and trustee sales and did that for a couple years. And a couple years ago, I did not like working with wholesalers. They were a pain in the butt. It was like, get me off your list. Don't waste my time.
Wait a second. We're not pains but I know where you're going.
I said before. But now that is my favorite way to buy houses. I mean, I still don't want to be on the guy's list who's finding a deal on Craigslist doesn't know anything about and shooting it out to 10 people wanting his. It's like, okay, hold on here. But we've connected with 3 to 4 really good wholesalers, and I buy tons of stuff from them. So we have a couple, 2 to 3 agents that are really good. We have 2 to 3 wholesalers that we really like, and each one of those guys bring me 1 to 2 to 3 deals a month, and we're golden. I mean, we do some of our own marketing as well, but I've just learned. You said, did I get overwhelmed by the competition? No, I became friends with the competition and figured out how can we work together. So,
that's a really cool point that you just brought up, because that's what a lot of people don't realize and appreciate the wholesaler. Because if you're out in the market, and even us marketing as wholesalers, we're dealing with competition with 5 other wholesalers maybe, or a rehabber like yourself or like myself, who's going to go in there and pay more. The wholesaler goes out there, he locates the lead, he markets to get the lead, spends the money for that, sets up the appointment, goes on the appointment, deals with the seller, deals with all the fun that goes along with dealing with a seller and walking them through the different stages of making a decision and bring him to the point of making a decision. And I got to talk to my attorney. I don't have to talk to my attorney. Got to talk to my sister up north, my sister out west, and then I'll get back with you. And then follow up, and all the stuff that goes into it to get that deal to the table is completely bypassed when you deal with a wholesaler as a rehabber, and you just go directly to them. Here's the deal. It's under contract, signed. That's it. And that's the value of a wholesaler. That's the value.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me add something to that, too, because some people are wondering, should I wholesale or should I rehab or what? And I think it's important to understand both, but a good place for people to start is with wholesaling, because you have to learn how to evaluate deals, right, and how to make offers, because it's a lot easier. It's better to make a mistake as a wholesaler than as a rehabber, right?
For sure.
It's a lot less at risk when you're wholesaling a deal.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Justin and Alex, the only 2 rehabs I've ever done, I lost my shorts on it. Oh, who's that, Alex?
Cute.
That's my little princess.
What's her name?
Say hi. Ella.
Hi, Ella.
Ella, say hi.
Hi, Ella.
Hi, Ella.
Hi.
She's cute, man. So I was saying, one of the things that I think it's important for wholesalers to think about and ask you guys, because you do rehabbing. I would look at it from the perspective of, why would you want to go through all the hassle of rehabbing a property? Because you could spend 6 months to buy it, fix it up, then put it on the market and sell it, when you have all of these moving parts. You were talking about, Alex, how hard it is for a wholesaler, but at the same time, I'm wondering, is it harder for a rehabber? Because you got all these moving parts. You're buying the property, then you have all of the unknowns behind the walls, right? Then you have
everything's hard. It's just a different kind of hard,
Okay, but
I mean, dealing with. Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I was going to say, you've got the inspectors, and then the permits, and the contractors you have to mess with. You finally get it fixed up, and then you have the realtors to deal with, the picky, finicky buyers. And then even the risk of, after you sell it, that buyer coming back to you and complaining and suing you for something that was supposed to be fixed but wasn't, and you knew about it and you hit it and all of that junk, right? So in that,
do the right thing, number one.
Right. Of course, I'm not saying other. So, and that's why, by the way, I lost so much money on my 2 rehabs that I tried to do, is I did the right thing, and it was a mess, and it was right when the market crashed. But you could take 3 to 6 months to rehab a deal, make $30,000, okay, which is good, right? That's a great return on your money. Or you could spend that same time during those 3 to 6 months and wholesale 10, 20 deals and make the same amount of money or more. All right. So what for you guys is the draw? And Justin, you take this first. What's the draw to rehabbing? Why don't you just wholesale properties, get in and out? Why would you rather make a slow dime versus a quick nickel?
Well, for me, first of all, you have to understand. I consider myself much more of a business owner than I do a real estate investor. And I believe there's a million ways to make $1 million. In fact, I just got done cleaning out my calendar, putting things in Evernote and saying, okay, these are the things you don't have to worry about right now. Because, we have I have 100 ideas of things that I know I can make a lot of money doing. But if you focus on, several ways to make $1 million, you're not going to make anything. You need to really focus in on a few things. So as I was doing my trustee sales, I wasn't developing systems for direct marketing and working with sellers and all these things, but I did start to develop really good systems for rehabbing properties. So it's been an easy transition for me to automatically go work with the wholesalers because I already have crews in place, I have financing in place, I have an assistant. I don't go look at my show, you probably hear me talk about that. So as to where most rehabbers, if they take on a project, I was just talking to a guy who came and visited me, yesterday from Texas who does flips, and for him, he has to make a certain profit because it's his time as well. When I take on a project, it's pretty much zero amount of my time because it just goes right into my system. It's more of a funnel. It's more of, okay, does this work? Do these numbers work? Okay, we plug into the system, and there we go. So. Yeah. I have those systems in place to where the rehabs do not take me much time. Now, eventually, will I get into doing some of our own marketing? Yeah, there's a good chance. I mean, I'm actually going to be meeting later on with a web development SEO company and talking to them about doing marketing. And, but if I do like a marketing campaign, it's going to be like I'm going to hire a marketer. He's going to run it for me. Like, I don't like to do anything small. Yeah. He's going to have a system of people taking calls. It's going to be a whole system. I'm not just going to have the phone start ringing to me, right? So anyway, I guess the bottom line, this is a long-winded answer, but I already had the system set up as I transitioned from trustee sales and not buying as many properties on the MLS, which we're still doing, just not as many, to working with wholesalers because it was the easiest transition for the system I already have set up, and we'll continue to progress and move in with that cheese, as you talked about.
Alex, that's it. I mean, it's all about the system. It's all about the system. And once you are able to take a deal that could be worth $5,000 on the wholesale or $40,000 on the rehab, and let's say you're not out there swinging a hammer, obviously. You're not out there meeting with inspectors. You're not out there dealing with contractors and all the fun that goes along with that. You're just taking this and handing it off here. And my look if I could make $5,000 right now, this second, for doing that, I would rather wait 2 months, 3 months, and get $40,000. What type of return is that? I mean, it's like it's getting paid more for something, essentially, is what it is.
Well,
Justin, but once again, it goes back to the system. So,
well, I wanted to ask you. I
was going to say, like, I would do a wholesaling system as well. If I had a bunch of wholesaling systems set up, that's fine. It's just not the system I currently have set up. So, keep wholesaling, wholesalers. Keep them coming. I don't want to discourage you.
No, I mean, I wholesale too. But here's the thing, and the interesting thing is, if I could make $20,000 on a wholesale, now I start to say, maybe, I could go the long haul on it for 40, but I could get 20 right now. Then I think I'll wholesale it. I mean, sometimes it just depends, on the situation, on what it is, where it is, and where I am, currently in my business at the time,
And building those systems is not that hard. Justin, I want to ask you about the systems that you have in your rehabbing business. And by the way, what episode was that? Do you remember? I want everybody to go back and listen to that. The 5 things you outsource or whatever and work 5 hours.
I could pull it up here really quick.
While you're looking for that. I'm sorry. I was going to say.
No, I think it was episode 30.
Oh, episode 30, okay. I was going to say let me explain to you guys the system that Alex and I use, which is, there's another one of your kids. Hey, man. Say hi.
There's another one.
Hello. What's
This
his name?
is my mini-me.
Alex Jr.?
This is Eric. Say hi.
Hi, Eric. Man, I love your kids.
Go downstairs.
Tell them they can all come in here. I'm serious. I'm not joking. Tell them they can all come in and join us. Anyway, so the system that Alex uses, and I learned a lot from you, Alex. It's very, very powerful. You're just the rainmaker, right? You send out the direct mail. You keep it very simple. You don't do 100 different things. I guess there's really two main forms of marketing you do, right? Postcards and some Google pay-per-click, right? That's it. And you send out the postcards. They go to a voicemail. You have a virtual assistant. Is the guy still working for you, by the way? Alex, did I lose you?
Yeah.
Okay, is he still working for you?
No, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, cool. So this guy answers the phone. Or he returns the call. He has a few simple questions, maybe 3, 4, 5 questions he asks each seller. If the seller doesn't give him a price, he makes a soft pass offer, doesn't he? He says, all right, well, let me run some numbers. I'll get back to you. He goes to a county assessor's website or Zillow or something, gets some kind of assessed value, takes a percentage of that. Yeah. RealQuest. Takes a percentage of that, subtracts a standard number for repairs, calls back the seller and says, Mr. Seller, I might be able to offer you something around this. Will that work for you or not? And the seller says yes or no. And based on the motivation, that lead goes into the system. Alex gets it. So now, Alex, you have a lead that's been pre-screened and pre-filtered by your virtual assistant who's actually making offers. And depending on the deal, whether it's marginal or not, you may tell the VA to call that guy back and make an offer or just kill it, or you actually will go
or I'll get on the phone myself.
You'll get on the phone. I love that.
Right,
so
exactly.
It's just, you're just writing the checks. Somebody else is doing the work. I think you're still sending the postcards yourself just because it takes you a few minutes to do it. But it's not a complicated business.
Right. Well, there's a lot of little things that go in. It's not just you send the postcards. There's a lot of things that go into that, making sure you get the right list, sorting the list correctly, making sure that postcard together correctly and your voicemail systems and all that stuff is set up correctly. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. But yeah, I handle all that. But once that's set up, then that's, you're good to go with that.
Right.
But the pulling of the list, I hold that to myself because there's a certain way I do things, and it's hard to teach others exactly how to do it. You have to really have a good idea of your market and where it's at in order to do that, and that's something that can't just be learned overnight. That's if anybody on this podcast was to come work for me or something like that, that's one thing that you can't really teach, and that's the feel of the market. That just comes over time.
That's a good point. And how many markets are you in again, Alex?
Well, my area has 7 different cities in it, and also in the Richmond and Chesterfield area, and a little bit in the Raleigh, North Carolina area.
Good, awesome. We're sending out about 15 to 20,000 postcards a week right now in about 20 different markets. We're doing
15 to 20,000. Now that's you or your students too?
I'm sending them for my clients.
Okay,
but we're partnering with them on deals. Anyway,
right.
I think you're absolutely right. You have to be very careful about the list that you mail to, and be very focused on that. And right now in St. Louis, where I do most of my deals personally, we're sending out about 5,000 a week, 3 to 5,000 a week. But I have
there we go. I was going to say.
I have somebody taking the calls. I have somebody helping me sell the properties. But Justin, you've got an amazing system in place where you don't go see the house. You don't go actually even make the offers. Can you talk really quickly, or take as much time as you want actually, Justin, and talk about your process for how the lead comes in and how the offers are made and where you find your deals?
Okay. So first off, that episode is episode 30. So if you go to houseflippinghq.com/episode 30,
cool.
That'll get you through. And that's 5 tips to create a 5-hour house flipping work week is the title. So basically, okay, so you talked about the deal funnel, right? I have agents out looking for me. I have wholesalers looking for me, and I have a couple bird dogs out looking for me. And they know my numbers. They know my criteria. I do not want any agent or anybody sending me a house that they have not done their legwork on, or if it's a wholesaler, they already have to have it under contract. You can just waste so much time. You know, the guys who fire up the MLS in the morning and just start looking for houses online and shooting out offers. I mean, that's good to get started because it'll help you learn how to evaluate properties, but you're not going to be able to grow your business and scale your business that way, in my opinion. So I have everyone do all the legwork for me, and then they have to go through my assistant. She knows the guys that we've already done a lot of business with. Some guys, if they call us up or send us an email, we know we're going to buy the house no matter what. And then there's a couple other people that we have to kind of filter through a little more. So she's kind of like the checks and balances there. She'll filter through those. And yeah, we buy houses. I mean, I look, the only ones that I ever like analyze, I don't go drive or anything, but if they're like the really higher end properties, or if she's really unsure about one, she'll bring it my way. But my whole goal in my business every day is to do nothing. Now, I don't mean I don't do nothing, but that's the goal. Like, that's a hard job to try to do. You know, I try to, the whole work in your business, work on your business, not in your business. That's my whole philosophy. And that's how I'm able to scale and grow. So
talk about how I think you mentioned this in one of your podcasts recently, Justin, how your realtors actually will submit offers for you. Is that correct? Or they'll calculate the offer for you, bring you the comps, and justify what they're wanting to offer on this property?
Yeah, so I buy in several different regions. I have one region that we've had a strong foothold in for quite some time. And our agent up there, I mean, we're doing about 40 to 50 deals a year with him alone. And he knows exactly what we're going to pay on houses. He's just submitting offers for us. And that doesn't even go through our filter system at all. He's like, hey, got one. And he gives us the numbers. I got this list of the 5 items that kind of help me scale my business here. Maybe I'll go through those really quick if you want. The first one I already mentioned. It's basically I let other people do the legwork for me. I'm not going to spend all my time filtering through hundreds of deals. They got to bring it to me served on a pan, ready to go. Number 2 is I use a rehab price list, which most investors will use a rehab, a list that talks about a list that has the items that they use on every house. But the price list, what that does for me is it allows us to not negotiate with contractors. Their prices don't creep up. It's a way, I haven't spoken to a contractor in months. I don't speak to contractors at all. And my assistant, who has no experience whatsoever in doing rehabs or contracting work or anything like that, she doesn't know anything about any of that. She's able to follow our system and make sure that we're paying the contractors what they should be paying. Basically, it's a price list that says, okay, you get paid $1 per square foot for paint. Okay, on the interior, you get paid $1 per square foot for paint on the exterior, and that includes on the interior, two-tone paint. Exterior includes the wall, the body, the fascia, and the eaves. It's $2.35 for laminate wood flooring, including materials and installation. It's $1 per linear square foot for baseboards. She has a whole list of what carpet is, what tile is, what we pay for granite, what we pay for installation, what we pay for, all those things. So it's really simple. All the contractor does each time, we never do a scope of work. We never walk the house with the contractor. We're never haggling with them. We never have to find new ones. All the contractor does for each job is they send us their, they send us the scope. They send us that information based off of what we do on every single house. We know what they're going to get paid. And our agents know that as well. So our agents can estimate the repairs going into it. And it's just a very simple formula. And it allows her to pay them. I don't ever work with payments. I don't write checks. There's an automatic system where they get paid. So that's how we use that price list.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so that's
what's
number
your
2.
automatic system of getting paid?
Of paying them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She uses, I think it's Bill, is it Bill.com? So I haven't even looked at it in forever.
And it mails them a check kind of thing?
Yeah. So we used to, do the thing where they go to Home Depot and they call us and we pay for the materials.
Terrible.
We don't do that anymore. That was a couple years. The Sky Miles points were not worth it. Getting called during dinner, and so we eliminated that completely to where the contractors now pay for all the materials. The only thing that we pay for is appliances, just because we get them from a special vendor and they're kind of add up. So they buy everything on the lower end properties. I have pretty good relationships with my contractors. I only work with 2 to 3. I don't work with subs. I only work with the main contractors, the general contractors. One of my general contractors does 75% of all of our work. He just manages several projects. So we have good relationships with them. So we will pay them half up front on the lower end projects, and then we pay them half when they finish. It's very simple. Here's your payment. You're done. Here's your payment. On the higher, on the higher end projects, we divide that up into 2 or 3. But once again, the less people I have to work with, the less payments we have to make. We already know what the payment is. Pay them half. Just keeps everything very simple. But yeah, it just pays them through like bill.com. It's just an electronic payment system. So, people aren't showing up at night. They need a check, and we're not getting called from the bank to get it verified and all that garbage. I've dealt with all that. So you go through this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I don't not want to do this. Again, as for most people, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. I will look at that stuff and say, okay, no more. What's the solution? And there's always a solution. Like, you talked about the yeah butters. People who are the opposite of yeah butters, which maybe I should come up with a name for them, but
yeah butters.
Yeah, they will always find a solution. And then you have the other group of the yeah butters that will always find a way to not make it work. So you just got to make sure you have your mindset right. So that's
you're
number
right.
2.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's all about the mentality. This sounds kind of funny. I was watching last night with my wife, my 600-pound life, right? Have you seen that on TLC?
No. I saw it advertised.
And you see these, these people that this doctor goes and does all this stuff for them pro bono, and all they have to do is follow the rules and and follow the regs and eat correctly, which I'm assuming is hard to do if you're 600 pounds. But all they have to do is that. And then there was this one lady who was just sitting there in her bed because she's immobile and just was like, oh, I can't do it. The world is out to get me. And she had the victim mentality. Renters have that victim. There's nothing wrong with renters or anything, but the tenant mentality. I'll pay you when this happens, or I'll do this when this happens, and it's the wrong mentality. But when you have the right mentality, exactly like you're saying, of how can I make this work, not searching for reasons why it won't work. That's really when you become successful, and I love that. This is a great podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's
number 3?
So number 3 is, I called it "Get Those Agents to Work."
Oh,
and
preach it,
bottom
brother.
line is, I put my agents to work. I mean, none of this, this is what I do and this is all I do. It's like, okay, well, you're not my agent then, right? So, I've got the guy that's been with me for a while. He's making about $200,000 a year. And, he's in a part of California where people don't get paid. It's not like a coastal area where, people make higher income. So he's doing very well, and he's willing to do anything I need him to do. So I have him. So I have my contractors. I don't have a project manager. Okay. I have my contractors and my agents work together. To me, that is the perfect balance of a project manager, because it's the agent's job to list the property and make sure the property's, ready to go and take pictures and whatnot. And I hold my contractors to a very high standard. None of this garbage of, I ain't no cleaning lady, which I've heard before, and not wanting to coordinate things. The general contractor, to me, it's like, I am paying you to do a job. I expect you to do the job. If you want to continue to get, those 50 projects a year that you are getting and never have to look for work again, you will do things the way we expect you to do them. And they do. People say, contractors won't do that. You're right, because you don't believe they'll do that. Mm-hmm. Stop talking about contractors and agents and all these people as if it's like a species. I mean, it seems like it at times, like they are individual people, and you can get people to do things if you manage them the right way. So I have my agents do all of my cash for keys because we buy a lot of houses that have tenants in them because that's part of the reason why people want to sell their house. They manage the cash for keys and the evictions. They're doing, lock boxes. They're because they have to go look at the house anyway. They'll work with my agents work with my contractors. They have their number. When there's an issue, they call them, not me. Okay. So the agent's doing that final walkthrough, but the contractor's held to the highest standard of make sure everything is done, deliver it spotless. Every single little item, walk through the property. Don't make me walk through it. Like, why do I need to do your job? I don't. The general contractor to me should be like the project manager, right? Because they have their guys, and then it's their job, and we hold them responsible to make sure they walk through, it's all clean and ready to go. But as a checks and balances, we have that agent. They got to sell the property. They're going to take the pictures. They're going to make sure it's absolutely ready to go. Okay.
Nice.
And then when we get to because every house, they do their inspection, and then they have their list of small items that they want done. He will work with the contractor to get those items done as well. Okay. And if it's anything that's too expensive, they'll confirm that with Vanessa. But if it's under like $500 in repairs, they're authorized to just do that automatically. Okay, I don't want to even hear about it. I don't want to get an email for $500. So that's number 2. Put those agents to work. Number 4 is avoiding the paperwork pileup. I used to spend like half of my day signing papers and filling out documents, and even the times when it didn't take that long, and I got some online. I was doing some stuff online, so that was faster than printing off, faxing, all that garbage. It still was a big interruption in my day and didn't allow me to continue to progress. 20-minute distraction equals a 20-minute recovery time, right? Yeah. So you're just all day, you're going back and forth, and everything's urgent. And so what I did after reaching out to several colleagues who all told me this was impossible, I said, well, I don't think it's impossible. And I contacted an attorney who created a document for me that allows me to give authorization to anybody I want to sign paperwork on my behalf, on behalf of my company. And I also, along with that authorization, gave authorization to my assistant or anybody I choose to negotiate for me. So my assistant is now allowed to take calls, because before agents, when we were selling a retail property, they would say, oh, I need to speak to the agent, because sometimes we'll list them through my wife or whatever, but she can now speak to them because you can speak to an agent or a principal, but I have given her that authorization to negotiate for me. So it allows people to take care of paperwork for me. It allows them to negotiate for me. I'm just giving them that authorization to do those things on my behalf. And that has saved me hours and hours, hundreds of hours. And I don't do paperwork at all. Okay. So I don't talk to contractors.
Go to closings?
No, here in California, we don't even go to closings anyway. But we send all the paperwork in and they close it for us. But if I did go to closings, I wouldn't go to closings.
Right.
I would send someone else to do that for me. I mean, my thought process was, okay, you've got these big, huge companies. I know the president of all these companies are not signing every single piece of paperwork in their company. So I knew there had to be a way. And it's a simple resolution that we add to our corporate docs, and we send it in, and nobody questions it anymore, because they shouldn't. It's a legal document. They can't.
It takes like an hour to drive to closing, an hour to sit at closing, an hour to come back from closing. It's 3 hours.
Yeah. And if you're doing 100 houses a year, that adds up. Yeah, I do. My goal is to, other than for my own personal and recreational purposes, to not leave my desk. Quite frankly, I make much more money when I'm sitting. Yeah, I make much more money when I'm sitting right here. I don't look at houses. I get a request every day to meet someone for lunch. I'm like, I have, modern technology. If we need to talk, we can talk.
Right. There you go.
So the last one is kind of obvious, but it's outsource the busy work. If you're calling to set up utilities or get insurance set up, I mean, come on, guys. Like, that is where you need to have somebody who, I don't care if it's an assistant working for you part-time, 10 hours a week, that you're paying $10 to $12 an hour. You're more valuable than that. If you don't believe that, then you shouldn't be doing this business, because you've got to believe that your time is more valuable than that. So,
that reminds me of one of the guys that I have 3 offices. My house, I rent an office where my local assistants work from, and Starbucks, right? And I kind of rotate between the 3. But that's what the guy that I rent the office space from. He's another investor here in St. Louis, and I like the guy a lot. He's been up and down in business. When the market tanked, he went with it. But he's had several businesses over the last 10, 15 years with 100-plus people that he manages and runs. And he's one of the most laid-back guys and disorganized guys that you could imagine. And you think, how on earth could he run a business like that? And he said to me one time, he said, Joe, every week I sit down on Monday morning and I look at all of my list of everything I have to do. And I ask myself one question. How can I get somebody else to do all of this?
I do the exact same thing.
All of it. And I thought,
same thing.
Dang, that sounds really good.
Yep.
What I do is I look at my list and think, okay, I can give that away. I have to do this. I have to give that. I can give that away. No, I have to do this. And I just never get that stuff done. And so the last couple of weeks I've been seriously thinking about that. I can't get it out of my mind. How can I get somebody else to do everything for me?
Uh-huh.
What is your best use of your time? It's not doing the direct mail. It's not. And Alex, I'd challenge you. Maybe, I don't know how long it takes you to pull your list, and maybe you really enjoy it, so that's fine, no big deal. But what is where do you get the best return of your hour? What is that? And everybody has a different answer, but it's important to know what that is, and it's important to think not. How does that phrase go? Not can I do it, but how can I do it? You know what I'm saying? Do you see the difference, right? Well, that's awesome. It's inspiring.
What's the setup in your office, Justin? Like, what's your? Do you have a small office? Is it you, your assistant,
there you go.
And then? Nice.
Oh wait, I gotta go back this way now, or my cords are gonna get all twined up. But no, I work from home.
Nice.
We recently moved to San Clemente, so we got a nice little ocean view. So if I get, sick of working on my office, I, go to on the deck or something. But no, it's just me, and my assistant works out of her office. I have 3 employees that are on, payroll, and they all work from their own home. I work here, and that's about it. And we're all throughout Southern California, so I don't know. It works well. I've had offices in the past, but there's pros and cons. I'm not saying I'm against it. Just depends what works for you.
Yeah.
So.
Justin, you've been really gracious with your time. We're at about almost an hour, I guess, here. But I wanted to ask you a few more questions about marketing.
Sure.
You get a lot of deals from other realtors, from other wholesalers that bring you deals. Are you doing any marketing on your own? Are you doing any direct-to-seller marketing and getting leads? And what are you doing there?
So the marketing that we're currently doing it's tied to someone's. For example, the agent of mine that we have that strong, that we've been working with quite a bit, we just plugged right into his system. I said, put those agents to work. I meant it. He, in his region, he takes the calls for that area. Actually, his assistant, which I helped him hire 3 years ago, I believe in helping other people build their business as well, right? It's going to help me in the long run. So I said, you got to hire an assistant. Now she takes the calls, she filters through them, and then he works with the ones that are more motivated.
Okay.
And I have another wholesaler who we started buying a lot of properties from at the end of last year. And I said, hey, how can you're pretty good at, marketing and getting these deals under contract. How can we do more? What do you need? He said, well, I would need, for me personally, I need more marketing money. And then I need more time. So once again, I said, hire an assistant. Why are you doing this, this, and this? And I said, I'll pay for all the marketing up front. We'll do a whole bunch of deals together. Yeah, I'm paying for all the marketing up front. We're doing, the idea is to do a bunch of deals together, and then he's getting 25% of the profit. What's that? Yeah,
I said you are marketing. But he's but he's getting 25% of your rehab.
He'll get 25% of the fee overall. We charge 2 points and 12% to the money, and then we get paid. We take the commission for the listing if we do list it. Sometimes we have. Otherwise, there's money applied to the listing. There's certain properties that we list depending on what area they're in. So it's it's pretty clean in that aspect. I don't mind giving up 25% of the deal for a decent deal. I just don't, especially in this market, especially in California. last year prices were going through the roof. Right now, I still see some appreciation going on. Depends on who you talk to, but I'm okay with that, because to me, the risk is putting the money up front. Giving up a piece in the back end really minimizes your risk. So I'm okay with that.
You brought up something that I've been thinking a lot about lately, Justin. I want to do more deals, but at the same time, I have a certain bandwidth. I'm doing deals in St. Louis, but I'm also coaching, and I have a course that I sell, and I like to spend a lot of time with my family. Like right now, my family is in a state park about 30 minutes away in our RV camper. And so we're camping this week. We had the first little glimpse of warm weather. Something happened when I was in La Jolla. I said, I want to get outside. And so I got back home. We de-winterized the RV, and we went to the state park, and we're camping there this week. But I had to come back here to my home to get on the Skype interview. But I've been thinking a lot. I want to do more deals, but I have certain limited...
Yeah, but
oh no, but I got it. But here, let me finish. All right, I want to do more deals, but I have like this acquisitions manager right now who's just working for me part time. He's doing great. I can't do much more marketing here unless I hire another acquisitions manager and train them. All right. So what I'm thinking about doing is finding some other wholesalers around the country. And I belong to a couple different masterminds with a lot of high-level guys in there that are really doing well by making offers on the MLS. They have realtors bringing them deals. They go to auctions or whatever. But they're kind of weak on the direct mail part of it, or they don't understand the direct-to-seller marketing. But they're really good at negotiating, and they're really good at getting a property under contract. Or maybe there are wholesalers that are wholesaling 20 properties a month, and they're just getting deals from word of mouth and referral in their network. So I've thought about approaching these other wholesalers, other rehabbers that are really already doing deals. They already have a buyer's list. They already understand the business. And approaching them and saying, hey, how about this? I got an idea. Let's see what you think of it. I'll pay for the marketing. I'll do the direct mail, and I'll have my team pre-screen the leads. And we're using Podio right now to manage all of our leads. I love it. It's just amazing.
Great service.
Podio. Those of you that don't know about it yet, you should look it up. But Podio is amazing, and I can share access. I can create little simple workspaces and share access with each of these kind of partners, quote unquote. But I'm thinking about doing their marketing, having my team pre-screen the leads, putting the leads in there where we have shared access, and then working with that wholesaler rehab to do the rest of the work, and then offer to split the profits 50-50 on the deal. I have some friends that have done this before, and those of you listening to this podcast, you might remember we interviewed Jake Duvall one time. And Justin, he tells an amazing story of how he was living in San Jose, East Bay, south of San Francisco Bay Area. And house prices are really expensive there, and he was doing a lot of marketing but having a really tough time. He was driving around in Fresno, and he saw his girlfriend or fiance moved to Fresno because she got a job transfer. He couldn't go there yet because he still had his job. So he was visiting her in Fresno, and he saw a bunch of bandit signs out there. And so he had this crazy idea to call those other wholesalers and say, hey, what are you doing? And out of the 5 or 10 wholesalers he talked to, he only found 1 or 2 that were really players, that were really understanding, really doing deals. So he just said, hey, what if I do your marketing for you, and I'll pre-screen the leads, and you negotiate it, get it under contract, and either wholesale it or rehab it or whatever, and we'll split whatever your profits are 50-50. The wholesalers, no-brainer. Yeah, of course I'll do that. I mean, what's there to risk? What's there to lose? I mean, this guy's bringing them deals, pre-screened leads, and they're not having to spend any money on marketing. So all of a sudden it starts working, and he's wholesaling 2 to 5 deals a month with this one wholesaler, and he's doing the marketing, not spending more than $1,000 or $2,000 a month on the marketing himself. So finally, he makes enough money, he quits his job, and he moves to Fresno to be with his girlfriend, and he still continues doing that. Even though he's living there now, he's still continuing to do that. I love that. And there's another couple guys I know around the country that are doing that. But those of you thinking about, like, I want to do more deals, but I'm just too busy. I don't want to take the time of building the buyers lists and meeting with the sellers, negotiating the houses, getting under the contracts. Why not find other guys that are doing that and offer to be the investor who pays for the marketing and pre-screens the leads for them? I think it's a great model, and I'm thinking about approaching other people that I know that I trust, and seeing if they would be open to doing that. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, that's kind of what
great.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, similar type thing. But yeah, I like to partner with bird dogs and wholesalers and just say, hey, I don't like to really focus on the one deal. I like to build relationships that will buy me, 1 to 2 deals a month or 3 deals a month type thing. That's kind of where I focus for the most part. But yeah, exactly like what you're saying. I do this very similar thing.
That last 5 minutes, I just said the same thing Justin said a few minutes ago. So, thanks a lot.
You can almost set it up to where you set up a meeting in your local area and try to get as many wholesalers as you can into a room, and then you could kind of take your pick on who you want to work with, I guess. I mean, you're probably, your competition that's really doing well, you're probably not going to get them, but territories, and say, this is zip code, this is your territory, I'm going to spend the marketing in here, you work this. Here's your zip code, your territory, here's the money for the marketing, you work this. And that's all I do is focus on that zip code, because, I mean, it's easy to let things slip through the cracks, especially in a big area like that. But I guess if you imagine, if you were able to just focus on one zip code in one area, I mean, I guess you could even do a whole county, but even then, some of these counties are really big. They might be able to just work that one zip code, and then you could have, all these different zip codes working for you.
And by the way, Alex, have you tested that third notice postcard yet?
We're not supposed to talk about that. That's proprietary Chris Chico material.
Holy cow! Okay, I won't talk about it, but this thing is amazing. Let me just say this, guys. Those of you listening...
It depends where you're mailing it, too.
Well, I've never seen results like this before. This is an amazing postcard. Chris Chico is a freaking freak of nature, genius. This postcard, we're pulling in 15 to 20% response rate with this thing. And of that, we're getting a total of about 4 to 5% leaving messages. And it varies on different markets. But Sean Terry's been testing it and just getting really, really amazing responses. And Todd Toback, we know, Justin, has been doing this as well. Mm-hmm. My point in bringing that up, guys, is don't be afraid to think outside the box. All right? It's easy to see what everybody else is doing and think that you have to copy them. And maybe there's some truth to that, right? If you see somebody that's successful, if you want to see the fastest path to success is copy what they're doing. But
you're copying somebody.
Okay, but I'm copying somebody who's thinking outside the box.
Yes, that's right.
But there's something else I'm doing. There's something else that I'm doing that it's really kind of crazy. But I love these podcasts too, because you get this idea. Justin, you had somebody on your show recently, and it was really good. It was so good I forgot who it was and what they said, but they had this little idea. It was a gentleman who it was wholesaling deals in San Diego, I think. He just interviewed him a few weeks ago. But he had this
Tim Gordon.
Yeah, okay. He had this little idea of something that he does, and I forget what it was. I wrote it down, but I love the fact that there's guys like you, Justin, out there who are doing this podcast, just an open book and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. You should try it out and do it yourself too. Because there's a lot of money to be made in real estate investing right now. And if these three schmucks that are here on this show can do it, we're not that... I know we're good looking and all, but we're not that smart, really, if you ask our wives. But if we can make money in this business, then I think a lot of people out there can do a lot better than what we're doing right now. So I don't know why I said all that, but just be encouraged, So,
no, it's true.
Be encouraged.
Very true. I always joke about how I can't do anything. I joke about how I can't do anything, which is why I have to get everyone else to do everything for me, and they happen to do it much better than I would ever do, and that's how I'm successful.
Yeah.
So
I think you're absolutely right.
Nice.
I mean, do you think that we do our own taxes, or do we find an accountant, a bookkeeper to do it for us, right?
Yeah, no way.
So, cool. Justin.
Of course.
Justin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Alex, let's talk about taxes for. I'm just kidding. At least some of us pay taxes. No, I'm just kidding.
What? I'm not even going to tell you the check that I wrote and will write to the IRS this year.
Yeah.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time because you told me before how much that check was that you wrote to the IRS last year.
Very sad.
Yeah, it was jaw dropping. But
I love writing big checks to the IRS.
No, you don't.
I do because
I know
it means that's how much money I made.
It means good things, but you would rather keep that money, wouldn't you? Don't you hate?
I would,
to just
but
let
I've heard so many people. I've heard so many people that are like, "Oh, but they make it like it's a big problem to make money because then you have to pay the IRS." I'm like, "Well, that's a good problem to have." So,
yes, it is a good problem, but I would rather keep the money
for sure.
What about when I just bought a Ford Excursion. I had it shipped here to St. Louis from L.A. and it's a 7.3 liter diesel. And they're very hard to find. It's a great engine, and this thing is 12 years old, and I paid $26,000 for it. Okay, but
my goodness,
we needed a diesel truck that can seat 4 kids and a wife and a dog that can pull this huge monster camper trailer that we have. Right, so I wanted to buy this Ford Excursion, diesel powered Excursion. But what hacks me off is when I have to pay $26,000, and then I have to go to the DOT or the DMV, whatever you call it, and pay them. I had to pay $3,400 in sales tax and licensing fees. Can you believe that? I understand paying taxes on money that you earn, right? But having to pay taxes when you buy something from somebody?
What year was that Excursion? We are.
I didn't hear
what year was that Excursion?
2002.
Oh, my in-laws have one just like that.
It's a beast.
But
too.
yes, we are digressing.
All right,
it is, but we're digressing. Back to flipping houses.
So, listen, guys, you can check out Justin's podcast at houseflippinghq.com. Justin, I meant to give you a hard time about your singing skills, but you put me to shame. And it's fun to listen to because it's just, you're different, right? But Justin does sing on his podcast. You got to go check it out. And you even got a guy that wrote a rap for you. How did you do that?
Mark, just like my house flipping business, my goal is to streamline as much as I can my house flipping HQ. I mean, of course, I create all the content, but allowing other people to do other things allows me to continue to create better and more content. So he knows how to do everything, and he does raps and all kinds of stuff. So
can you give me his name and email address? He enjoys doing it. Is he looking for work?
You want to rap, Joe?
No.
He's so busy right now. All
right.
I tell him, you better stop doing other things because you've got a lot going on.
But sometimes if you want to get something done, give it to somebody who's busy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No. Cool. Well, guys, any other way to contact you, Justin, or is that the best way to do it? houseflippinghq.com?
Yeah, houseflippinghq.com. I do a webinar once every 3 weeks or so. You can go to houseflippinghq.com/webinar and check that out. I talk a little more about the coaching program I do and just answer questions and talk about my business. So
awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much, Justin. Thank you, Alex. And been a good show. I think this is really good. We'll release this next week. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll have you guys on my show soon. I'll reach out to you.
Okay, very good.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Take care.
Go to realestateinvestingmastery.com.